Hey, you guys, it is Gigi with Invite the Light Readings coming to you with another reading. There we go. And so this one, obviously, as you've seen, is about Trayvon Martin. I've seen other readers do Trayvon, and over the years, I have shied away from that because initially I wasn't really into contacting anyone who had already crossed over on the other side. I felt like I don't know, I just felt like it was a little creepy, especially somebody who is like left the world like in a forced way, not seemingly on their own real timeline. Since then, every once in a while I got, like an inkling to do something. Like, of course, you guys know I did Nipsey Hustle because I felt really guided to do that. And I actually did Malcolm X too, but I actually didn't put that one up. And a few other people that you guys probably know that I can't think of at the moment. But howdy, folks. How are you? The reason why I want to do this is because I had just remembered that his parents have been recently subjected to a $100 million lawsuit from the murderer of their son, which for me is like, what kind of universe are we living in again? I mean, are we in the Twilight Zone here? Where once again, at a time when our country is really only hanging by a thread because of our judicial checks and balances system, because of the judicial branch of the checks and balances system in our government, at the same time, the judicial system has been a place where people weaponize it. Not to use that word typically, but that is the best word to use it. Weaponize it. They pull people into court for no reason, just to simply drain them financially. You have to go to court because otherwise, obviously, if you don't defend yourself, you'll be just concluded guilty. So, I mean, it's a way of draining people not only financially but also emotionally. And the court system also is just like, we can go on forever with it. So I just thought that that was like so unfair to the parents that they have to deal with this $100 million lawsuit. I mean, these are not, obviously, I don't think these people are rich people. um, you know and I don't even want to address the person who is dealing with it, but he's just anyway gotten a lot of issues. I'm sorry, the person who's initiating, the petitioner, also aka the murderer, um, the negligent person, the person I feel who's negligent, because when you go and you pursue something with someone, you pursue someone and they run away from you, you pursue them, you put them in a state of fear, you attack them, they gain control over you, and then you end up shooting and killing them because you felt suddenly your life was in danger. Feels like criminal negligence to me in that particular case. And it just feels, it's just really just disgusting, especially because it was a kid. Like, it had been an adult, it'd something else. So what I want to do is not get into a whole conversation about that too tight, because a lot of time, what I want to do is just begin by just introducing just a little bit of clearing here. Okay. Okay, I don't really have the official chime striker, I guess you would call that. So that's why I was hitting it so many times. So I was guided to use these cards as Sacred Power reading cards. I've never used them before. And what I see from Trayvon is, wow. It's deep, it's heavy, it's frightening, and it's beautiful all at the same time. This person has so much love for humanity Let me see something before I say something else. Yeah, his ultimate self, probably one of his higher selves, are one of his higher selves are very wise, very elevated, right? And he kind of comes from a world where, how would I say this? This is a little more, it's not the traditional like Christian right and wrong, right? It's a different dynamic where it's a little more accepting of both light and dark, but there needs to be a balance. This person believes in a balance, and that's also why the way this table looks almost exactly like with the shadow on one side and light on the other is almost kind of reminds me of this card in a way. Like there's no line, there's no shadow and light line down the middle, but I knew when I saw this shadow here that there was something. But he believes in a balance. So his higher selves don't take this personally. Let me say the fact that this has happened. He actually came and incarnated. I want to be careful because I don't want anybody, if any of his relatives ever watch this, I just want to say respect, and that what I'm about to say might not land in a world where the laws are the way they are, like the spiritual laws, the religious laws are the way they are here. So if you feel like you might be upset, maybe turn this video off. But in the higher power, almost like the God power, or even a Christ consciousness in a way, where almost like, yeah, like almost like Jesus, where Jesus forgave his own murderers. He incarnated in to help advance this issue. There's so much information I could tap into and tell you. There's so much. And I just forgot everything. I mean, I don't even explain this. It's so otherworldly. It's so dark and light. It's heavy, but it's this person's agenda was way bigger than the aspect of this story. That's what they're trying to present to me, that this is just an aspect of the story. Sure, in this dimension, sure, in our mind frames here, this seems very, very, very unfair. And overall, in the overall scheme of things, in a way, it's something that's out of balance more than it is something that is unfair. Now, that is not a comment on it being, when anyone's saying that, oh, you know, the taking of his life was right, and that's not what's being said here. Damn, there's so much information. I just forgot everything. I like connect to translate, and I like just lose everything. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna just ask you guys to just be patient for 1 second. I just need to be quiet because my brain feels like. So I really want to get the gist of what I want to say here, of my understanding. Nobody's telling me anything. I'm just understanding it. I'm looking at it and I'm trying to translate what I see or what I perceive along with my own consciousness. So
yes,
let us see here. It's like unscrew my brain. I honestly, I might really need like a minute of silence. So if it gets weird like that, just know I'm going to talk, but I just need to like reorganize.
okay, sounds great.
So what we were talking about is let me just bring it down to the lamest terms, is that his purpose here was to bring awareness to respect for life, let's say. To forward it as best he could And it's weird because he knows he couldn't get it over the finish line. Not one person can do that or one thing can do that, but this is one person making a big effort in the collective consciousness in order to have one step on behalf of mankind, let's say, that saying. And when you look at it this way, like, it's really shameful, like, how we've been functioning as human beings. It's not funny, but I mean, it's pretty pathetic. It's pretty pathetic. I mean, we're in 2020. People are still fighting for their rights to their own sexual rights over their own body, rights to clean water. Like, honestly, I mean, we as civil human beings, like animals treat each other better. When you think about it, a group of cheetahs living together are in more harmony most of the time, or a group of lions, elephants, or even a group of hyenas or vultures. I'm serious now. I'm really bringing serious conversation here to us really holding ourselves accountable to our bullshit. We are the so-called highest developed form of life here on this planet, and we are still going through things where we are not respecting, like, the miracle of life, the miracle of nature. People are still determining, how do you cancel out nature and think your ass is better than the next man when you all were created the same way? You may look different, but you all were created the same way. Now, how do you think you are higher than God to think you are better than someone else? How are you? And then to determine this is the way people need to be living. This is a way, like, there's just so much that is just so crazy here. Anyway, he doesn't have as much judgment as I have, but I'm just saying, like, he came here to push that forward, and I don't want to say I find it tragic, but I just find it, like, after all of that, because it's so much with your life. And then it's also very interesting because, well, let me not go there for a second, because then I'm not going to finish this point, but to go through all of that just to forward just one step within the consciousness, that kind of love, that kind of giving, I mean, it's infinite. This person has so much love. I mean, they have so much love for beings, so much love for life, but immortality, but life, respect for life, respect for vibration, whether it's in essence as a human being or not. Like, and he believes in this. It's not a world, it's outside of this world. Like, it's like he believes in life, like what it is on a universal level, on a star level. Whether it's a star bursting, or whether it's a baby leaf uncurling on the side of a tree on Earth, or if it's a cloud on Earth going by in a blue sky, or if it's the moon being shone on by the sun. He believes in life. He believes in balance. He believes in life being at its best. And it's so weird because it's such a higher consciousness. It feels so fucking indifferent as a human being reading this. It feels almost indifferent, but it's not at the same time. It's so unbelievably powerful. It's so unbelievably powerful. Most people won't even, I don't know. This person too, Trayvon, his consciousness has been in darker worlds. Like, he's a light bringer. Wow. And also, I kind of felt funny using that word because it's almost like it's not powerful enough. He's a forwarder or something. He's a forwarder. I don't know, but his love, from his higher consciousness self is so powerful, and such a strong belief in creation, in existence. And I guess how I could say there's a balance in existence. There's a balance in existence, and he loves living. He loves living, but the imbalance of not recognizing the life and rights in nature, even when you have the cues from nature. Like, if nature is producing a tree, how the fuck can you sit there and go, oh, this is just not right? This is inferior. I mean, this is what we're doing to human beings. Like, these people are not, And what makes you superior? What? Because you gained, you played the game a little bit more, a little bit more shrewdly, and you were able to capitalize off of other people, or you were able to play victim. What makes you better? That doesn't make you better. You still have one heart, two eyes, one nose, one mouth. And I don't mean to be so preachy, but I'm just saying, like, really, this reading, the whole thing about it. When I get presented with what he's trying to do, I just get really annoyed about how fucking immature we are as human beings. Like, we're supposed to be calling ourselves developed, and yet we do stupid things like go, okay, yeah, we're gonna have a space force because that's the next frontier for war, not the next frontier of discovery, not the next frontier of advancement for humankind. The next frontier for war. Like, this is what we're dealing with, people, at the end of 2019. This is what we're dealing with. I mean, viruses and bacteria function in even more higher levels of cohesiveness than we have in certain ways, with certain levels of mentality. Like, we really need to get a grip. When I look at this, because we have real people fighting for us to be within our higher selves, to recognize a God within ourselves, to recognize a God within others. We have people fighting and taking energy to incarnate and forming bonds with people, loving bonds only for them to be ripped apart by ignorance. Because we are not forwarding ourselves. We need other people to help us to do stuff that is just simple common sense. Trayvon Martin is good overall and in general, because he had to incarnate in such a dark, funky area of consciousness or where we are. Yeah, I mean, he's got a little effort in the afterlife to clear that off. There's an adjustment period, but he's going to be good. This is so powerful. It's almost like, I don't know. I'm just like, people don't even deserve to know this shit. They don't, I mean, just don't even deserve to know any more than this. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to people who are watching. I'm just saying, like, I didn't even expect this reading. Like, a lot of times too, when I do these celebrity readings, or if I do readings of people who have become known through notoriety or through some grave injustice or just through celebrity, I mean, sometimes you don't expect the outcome of the reading to be what it is. It's in a completely different direction. This person right here is a doer. Like, respect, okay? Respect. I can't even, respect is even an inferior word. Like, when you see the power of what this person did based off the strength of love for others, This is like some old Jesus level stuff. And I don't care who gets offended that I've mentioned Jesus and this person in the same sentence. I don't care. Because our divinity, the power of it is when it's in 100% love and it's in 100% Christ consciousness and beyond, it is what it is. I mean, this is the closest thing that I could mention to what this person is doing is a Christ consciousness. It is a Christ consciousness. And if you don't believe it, it had his death more than anyone else's who died in similar manners or of similar complications and grayness. This is the biggest one that affected people for the most part. I'm not diminishing anyone else, by the way. I'm not diminishing anyone else at all. Not diminishing anyone else at all. But what I'm saying is that this person's intention was to really be able to, it literally is like waking people up or jolting people. And it's not that waking up, like, you know, the English language is limited, so I have to use the word waking up. But it's not as if he's saying, maybe it's more like reactivating the awareness of first your own divinity, and then by doing that, the awareness of your own divinity, not having to act in ways that are non-divine, but having to therefore seeing the divinity within yourself, caring about yourself so much and caring enough to just at the very least respect the divinity of others. And if that is not understood, like that is so, it's so deep and sounds so basic, but you know, there's something about the English language that just really diminishes a lot of stuff. Like I feel the words, the information being limited and deadens when I put it into English language. Yeah. This person's been doing this for lifetimes. He also has a twin flame, but it's like, I don't know, you know, like I did a reading on the earth, and I'm probably gonna weird you guys out now. He also, as does the earth, has a twin flame. And they both do this work, and it's a work of balancing. And I don't really want to talk too much about it because I don't think it's my place to talk too much about it, but it's really powerful work. Yeah, it's powerful. So, I mean, this is his intention, the overall intention on his total timeline, like this lifetime of his, the tragedy of it, the way we see it as a tragedy is for him. Again, I want to be respectful in case family is watching or someone one of his loved ones. Again, the information I might say may seem super indifferent and impersonal, so I just want to give people a moment to cut the video off. He now, like, shit, I forgot what the fuck I was gonna say. It's crazy. I'm gonna get it back. I'm sorry. Oh yeah. When I have to switch between a certain cylinder in my brain and the other one, that's what it is. I like lose the stream of consciousness that I have going on. That's what it is. Okay. What he is doing is one thing on a very long timeline of advancement for an entire universe. He's literally, like, he and this other person who is like his twin flame, they are like working to restore levels of balance both within dark and light, because that is where people are going. It's masculine and feminine, it's dark and light. It's not evil and good, It's something more than that. It does have those components in them, shadow and light. But at the end of the day, I think when you have those powers, Jesus, when you have the dark and the light in balance, then it just becomes, it's no longer good and evil. It's only balance, and you're not going to be a person who's stepping on other people's feet or anything like that. And you're not going to be a person who's so good, who's over giving, who's overdoing, who's over this and who's over that. You're going to be commanding equal. Dude, this is so deep. I can't even, like, I think I'll be out of commission if I try to translate all of this for you. Like, for real. I haven't had enough to eat to power my brain that deep. But I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this. But here it is, like his belief in a real utopia about, wow, getting this universe back to what it originally was. That's what I'm hearing. And it's not at the same time, yeah. At the same time, it's not a hold on one second. Yeah. So you have the soul journey card here, but then you have the lightning card here. And as you can see, these are really mirroring each other. I don't have any tarot cards right now to even begin to do any more, like do some more fun clarification with this other than what I've been doing now. Because then I could get even more information, but we'll be here like forever. I can just tell you this person is, oh my God, it's almost like I want to say something that again will land extremely indifferent in this time, in this realm, in our consciousness. But he's saying, don't feel sorry for me. Like, this is not a story of sorrow. This is a story of love. God, he even said it's a job. Like, this is so insignificant. It's almost like the worst thing that I could say. I mean, I'm just going to say it's not even a really good analogy, but it's almost like, somebody who's going in to fix a broken system, and they have their toolbox, and they go in and they go to start fixing something, and then like a pipe bursts and it burns their arm. And that's it's a really bad analogy, but that's kind of how he's like, I'm on, like I'm on to the next thing. Like, this is a big circular, big, it's almost like the Wheel of Fortune, like if you've ever seen it in the tarot card, the Wheel of Fortune. It's a really, really big, intricate plan for him. This is like, and he goes to multiple planets, you know what I mean? But right now, this situation, it did do a lot in that it cost a lot to come down into this kind of energy. It cost a lot to hold the kind of vibration that needs to be held in order to draw that experience in with that other person. So I mean, his de-incarnation, I don't know how you would call that, but also because there was a jolt, I would think, I'm gonna think, yeah. He's really powerful though, but it did take some time to like de-jolt himself from that murder, you know what I mean? Like, to be able to come back into his regular being and to not have trauma and to deal with everything down to a cellular level and on up. And so he is still right now in a world of purification, but he's still processing some darker consciousness. Even though we don't feel that our consciousnesses are kind of dark here on Earth, they kind of are like really dark and murky compared to higher consciousness. So he's like in a place where he's really having to undo all of the years of that. I don't know. I see veins. I see, because I don't know. It would take me some time to explain this one, but it's really interesting. But he is something else. He is something else, this person. Something else. Respect. I gotta run to the loo. Yeah, it's that serious that he's like, that's just what it is. It's nothing bigger. It's nothing deep. It's nothing deep for you to really get all into in a 2-hour reading. That is what it is. He has deep love for his family, but he also, and I will say not but and in addition, he's got deep love for the sentient being, the being, people being able to be. And once everything is in balance with that light and dark, people are going to be in their highest form. Even when they're in their lowest form, people are going to be in their highest form and they can function. He believes in progress. He believes in forward thinking. He believes in balance. That's all I can say. I've got to do another reading. I've got to, let me see what time it is. I don't have that much time. I don't mean seeing impersonal. Maybe I'm catching some of the energy of this reading about being impersonal, but I'm going to come back in a few minutes with another reading. Kudos. Yeah, I got to go. Actually, I'm going to leave this right now. I'm going to come back to it and make some last comments. All right, thanks for hanging out, you guys. So my other thoughts were Trayvon Martin also is part of a high level group of beings, a higher civilization, fearless kind of, or in the way that we would think fearless is. It takes a lot. Okay, look at this. Look at this. It takes a lot. Thank goodness he did say something about his mother, because I was like, you're not gonna say anything about your family, please. He goes to them. He communicates with them already. It could be for some of them in their deeper consciousness. So some of the people in his family might be like, but they will know kind of, because they've been able to reach a certain level of peace within, and that'll be the sign that he's been communicating and working with them and within their deeper consciousness, because he's helped to bring a level of relief or respite or healing. So let me hit this thing again. Okay. So for a being to decide to utilize the energy and all the concentration it takes to concentrate yourself into a being like this, a human being, or maybe beings on other planets, I feel are a lot less work, because that's interesting. I feel like this is one of the most difficult forms to incarnate into. It takes a lot of energy to incarnate into this human being. But even though some of the worlds that he's going to are darker, this was dark in its own different way and difficult in its own different way. And I mean, being in these situations where you're getting ripped out of your body, like, it takes a certain person, a certain love, and a certain achievement. He has had to, I would say probably in some point in his earlier lifetime, something like that, had reached the point of Buddhist master, to be able to have that much detachment, to be able to do this kind of job. He's taking it on kind of like it's a job, because he, like, almost like a career, incarnates in these situations to forward consciousness, to spark thinking, to spark provocation, to spark conversation, to spark self-development. And this is, yeah. The other incarnations were not this way, I think he's saying. We're not this way. This is probably the most violent. But the other ones are difficult, but they're difficult in a different way. And this is something definitely unique. Yeah, and that makes sense to me, because other places would not have the same consciousness, the same history, makeup, the same superiority complexes and inferiority complexes that we do. So the dynamic is completely different. So yeah, that makes sense to me. But he is so grateful to his mother, and he's known her in another lifetime, and he will see her again. And he's grateful to his parents. He's grateful to his family, and he wants them to know that he had a really good life, even though it feels like it was short. He had a really good life, and he kind of knew anyway, always somewhere in the back of his mind, that he wasn't going to live a long life. And one of them may know it, like he may have made some kind of sideways comment or something like that once or twice throughout life. And he kind of knew it, actually. But I don't think fully his consciousness registered it 100% down here, but it was always a part of him that knew it, and maybe once in a while would say something to the effect, but never like consciously like, oh my God, Yeah. And he's also really talking about his divine partner. It keeps bringing up as well how much love he really has for his divine partner. They are in separation now, and he really misses his divine partner. But he is very proud of the work. I'm going to say that she's done. Yeah, he's very proud of the work that she's done. And she did something to make it easier for him to walk between worlds, you know, like she did something because of some of her work. He's able to do a few things easier, or, you know, like she came in. Whew, I think whoa, they are intense. Let me tell you, they are intense, these two. Oh my God. She came in like, she came in and, but like a baby, like in the third year, died or something, but her presence or whatever it was somehow sparked, you know, some needed change, some portal, something, some way through the people that she was born to or something like that, ended up opening up an easier path for him somehow, some way, I don't know. But he's just so proud of her. He's so proud of her. And also her development, the way that she's been able to transfer through the worlds, because he wants to be able to smoothly transfer as well, the way she does, incarnating, not incarnating, incarnating, not incarnating, incarnating, you know, and to be able to do it in a less painful way, I want to say. Like, and when I say painful, I'm not talking about his murder or anything like that. I'm just talking about just being able to get out of the density. How I would be able to explain this sort of is like, you know, like Star Trek or something, where it would be something like where Scotty, they would say, beam me up, Scotty, and they would get in those things and they would be dematerialized, and then they would be on another planet and then they would materialize again or something like that. I mean, it's just stuff it's super intense. Super duper intense. They've done a lot of this, like what? I'm all in the business now. I want to know, like, what's the purpose of this? Like, I mean, I get it. He really wants balance. She really does. When they finish this, they'll be able to be together. Oh, when they finish this, they'll be able to do what twin flames do and come into union was what I was trying to say. She's been doing a hell of a lot of work. She's been doing a heck of a lot of work within her own systems and stuff. So I'm pretty much getting kind of the same cards again. Yep. Yeah. And that is where we ended this, ultimately, this higher society, divine society that they're part of. They've been part of for many years. They may eventually be trying to close out of it, and actually maybe that's why they're doing this, because this society, they do things together and they do assignments, and I think, well, I can't even explain it in a couple of sentences without making it seem a lot less than what it is. But I think they want to change off into something else for a good purpose, not out of like selfishness or anything like that. I just want to be careful. I just want to make that clear. But and they've been doing these assignments because they really believe in them, but they also, it's their way back to each other. So it's amazing. Oh. This person is part of a big series of celestial beings, I'm telling you. Because putting these worlds into balance and restoring them is like restoring balance within themselves, as if they were a part of this. Not that And we all are, but it's different. It's kind of like different for them. Like this depends on, and I also don't want to say it depends. They depend on this too, because you could definitely see for sure what he's doing is a choice. What he's done is a choice, and it's out of the love. It's out of the love. So I don't know. I'm gonna leave it there. But I mean, that's just amazing. I'm kind of blown away still. Respect. And yeah, they didn't want me even to talk this long. It's like the energy kind of just left like maybe 5 minutes ago. So yeah. So guys, that is that for this. I would have said more about the family, but I don't know. It's not really telling me anything. But I think it's important, like coming back into our earth realm here, to maybe, if you feel interested and invested in this, to send, I don't know, maybe Benjamin Crump's office in Florida, or Trayvon's mom and dad, like some form of contribution, so they'll be able to deal with the legal fees of this case. And, you know, I mean, lawyers cost $400 an hour and up. Just to make a phone call costs, anywhere from $80 to $400, and to defend them in this case, God knows how much, I mean, even $20,000 worth of work is only sometimes like 10 or 20 hours of work. I know I did the math wrong. I know I absolutely did the math wrong. It's not 10 or 20 hours, but maybe like, maybe 60, maybe like a little over, maybe like 2 weeks worth of work type of thing. So if a lawyer were to work on this all day, every day for a couple of weeks. So yeah. Oh my goodness. That was a lot. All right. Ciao for now. I'm going to do an extended reading, a couple of extended readings, and I'll chat with you guys another time. Thank you. Bye.